So, Google Sheets is a great little online spreadsheet program that's incorporated as part of Google Drive. And spreadsheets are great at all kinds of things. They've got fabulous formulas and functions and things that can do all kinds of crazy calculations. But step one is usually just being able to enter that data in there at all. And there's some differences there compared to, say, entering information into a document. So, let's take a look at how we would enter information into a Google Sheet. When I'm on Sheets, I can click into a cell, and I can click really anywhere I want to go. Click, 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 whatever cell I want to type into. And for right now, to make things even easier, I'm going to blow this up. So I can use the little zoom control that's right here on my toolbar and blow that up to 150. So it's a little easier to see what I'm doing. And then I can just start typing. So I can type anything, really, into here, whether that's going to be text, or it's going to be a bunch of numbers, or a combination of the two. Now, when you do that, like my age is 12, the text is always going to be aligned to the left, just like any normal text that we're used to reading, and numbers will always be aligned to the right. Now, you can change that because you can come up to your tools up here and make all kinds of alignment changes and control exactly how that's going to look, but by default, it's an easy way to tell if what you've just typed is being treated as a number by the spreadsheet or being treated as text. Now, to create that and go down in a line like that, I can actually type a lot like I would if I was just entering paragraphs into a document. So I can smash the keys a little bit, hit enter again and again, and just hit enter, enter, enter to get all the way down. Now, if instead I was going to be, say, adding column headers to a bunch of data that I'm going to create here, instead what I might do is call it whatever, header 1, and then instead of hitting enter at this point and going down, I'm going to hit tab. The tab key is going to take me over. There's no indenting like there would be in a document here, so tab just moves you to the right. So I can put in my header number 2, tab, and header 3. Tab, and I'll be able to keep going down like that. Now, as I do that, once I'm done with different headers that I need to do, then I can hit enter, and it's actually, much like a document, going to take me back to the first cell and then bump me down. So then I can go ahead and start entering that data, whatever it might be. I might have a name, hit enter, name 2, if this was like student data or something that I was entering, and then I'm done. Next to that might be marks that they got, so I can start typing in numbers. Oop, hit enter, 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 and give them marks that way. And I can continue that. Now, to move around the spreadsheet, I have, again, a couple of options. I can use my mouse and just click anywhere I want to go, or I can use the arrow keys, actually, on my keyboard here and just start moving anywhere I want on this sheet. So I'm always free to move anywhere I feel like. At the moment, I'm seeing down to about row 17 and over to column G. So my rows and columns are a lot like Battleship. They're all labeled with either numbers or letters. And so the cell that I am in right now would be referenced by saying I'm in B5. It's always column first. I would never say I'm in 5B. I'm always going to say I'm in B5. And I can click over here to, of course, D4. Now, at the moment, if I were to grab the scroll bar at the bottom here, I can drag all the way over, and it'll give me the full alphabet almost out to T at the moment. But I can keep going from there. If I did move all the way out to the edge and realized I needed more cells, I could click this little arrow, and I could then insert to the right or to the left, depending on if I've got data in there already. And same kind of thing is going to be true of my rows. I can actually go to the bottom and insert more rows, big batches at a time. Or maybe right here I decided I need a row right there for some reason. I can actually right click on that row itself and I can insert a row above, and it'll create a blank line there for me. When I do enter information in here, if say this one right here was actually a comment field of some kind, and now I'm typing a whole bunch of information in there, I can type, hit enter, And at the moment, that cell is set to wrap text. So that's going to mean that whatever I type in there is going to just wrap around within the width of that cell. And as you can tell, as soon as I hit enter, it's going to change the height of that row. Well, I can change that too. If I were to click here, I have a button up at the top here called text wrapping. I can click my text wrapping button, and then from there I can choose to either leave it on wrap, I can move it over to what's called overflow, or I can choose the clip option. Now clip is going to clip off whatever text I happen to have in there. So it does still exist. If I look up into the actual address bar, the formula bar in this case, that will show me all the text that's in that particular cell. And as you can tell, as soon as I've clicked on it, I see all the text that's in there as well. So it's not gone, but clipping will keep it within the width of that cell and not, change the layout of my spreadsheet in any way. The other option, though, of course, was when I click up here to choose overflow. And overflow will allow this text to just bleed right over into these other columns up until something gets typed here. As soon as I've added anything to the right of that text, it's going to just clip off that text so that I don't bleed into this and I can actually see whatever data happens to be in there. So there's definitely going to be things within a spreadsheet sometimes that are essentially hidden, but they still exist. And they still exist both for being able to come up and read what is actually there. They also exist in the sense of any kind of calculations being made. If we were calculating things based on these grades, like say we had an average over here, and I put in some formulas to do that calculation, I can actually take a column like this, click the little arrow, and choose to hide the column entirely, indicated now only by these little arrows and the fact that my alphabet is now missing a letter. But if I was calculating an average based on those cells, then my calculation will definitely still incorporate that data. It knows that column is there and it will continue to use it. So pop that back out by clicking those arrows and I get all my data back again. So I'm able to quickly move around, type whatever I need to, and then like any other document, I have a number of different formatting tools up here. So I can make things bold, I can change the color, I can make it italics, I can also bump up the size of my text and change that in any way that I see fit. Now that's going to have a big effect, of course, on what I'm looking at on screen. Where sizes and fonts sometimes don't help you a whole lot is if you are printing things, because if you are trying to print, say, a dozen columns and 20 rows, and you say, I need this to fit to the page, that will override the sort of font settings that you may have selected. You might think it's a 10 or 12 point font and that's easy to read, but once you've said I want all these cells to be on my printout, well, that'll get squished down to make that fit. So just making this bigger won't necessarily change what you're printing, depending on what you're trying to do. So there's a few quick tips on things that you can do when entering text into a spreadsheet that should help you out with any of your data entry on spreadsheets.